Three. Hello, welcome to Meet Tina here. Well, let me ask you these questions. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you lack abundance or you lack your goal or you feel like you just have nothing going on with your life, especially right now during post-COVID? And if your answer is yes, even just one of those, well, we're going to ask Karen to help us. How about that? So let's welcome Karen. Karen Kartika. Is that how you spell your last name? You pronounce your last name, right?
Kartika. That's very close.
Kartika. Oh, okay. Sounds very sexy and very beautiful.
Very, very exotic,
right? Exotic last name. So anyway, Karen, can you kindly just introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about yourself so people know, and what can you do in this session to help people to get unstuck, to be happy, to bring abundance, to bring this balance and love and money and everything in their life? I know you're a life coach, but you're something else too. So show us the way.
I will. My name is Karen Kartika. I'm born and raised in Indonesia, and then I moved to the US. That's been my lifetime dream to be able to live and work in the US, and here I am. And I've been a life coach for seriously for the last 4 years. But I'm also, like Tina knows, I'm also a hypnotherapist. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher. I'm a Breathwork Facilitator. I'm an astrology intuitive reader, and so many others. And the reason why I enjoy learning all the things that just outside of what we are conditioned to learn, right? It's because there's so much more to life, and then that's been kind of my path in my life. I can't really relate to a lot of the things that we have to do and we have to learn. So I will always dig deeper into, okay, what else is out there? And that's what got me into doing my work today. And if you're asking me about being unstuck, feeling stuck and not knowing what to do, and that's exactly what I do with my clients. Especially, I came from before I jumped into metaphysics and doing life coach and all that, I was successful in what I did. I was a director at a multinational advertising agency. And yet even then, with everything that I have, abundance that I have, I was still feeling not enough. And then that's exactly what I help with a lot of my clients, because they all suddenly starting to, ask the question, why am I still missing things? Why do I feel like there's something else out there, but I can't really pinpoint what that is? I don't feel like my abundance is enough. I still am not, in a great relationship, and all that questions, right? So anxiety started to build up when you're starting to feel like out of control, like things that you feel like it's secure, just like what we just experienced during the last few years, things that we felt was secure, that we know exactly where we're going. Suddenly you got that feeling like, we're not there yet anymore. I can't even control of what's coming next. I don't know what's next. I can't really look into the future, which is, we all actually can't really look into the future, but yet sometimes we've been conditioned that, after this age, you're going to be this. After this age, you're going to be that. After this level, you're going to be this. And that's all the trajectory that we know. But then when we starting to have this bubbly feelings like there's something more, that's when what we also call the awakening, right? And although I'm not that spiritual awakening, but I'm, for me, even in this mundane world, the awakening is happening even at the level of like, you're just starting to questions. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing, what I do today? So that's what I've been helping my clients, because once we start to be really aligned and integrity with our soul, because that's all that big questions, that bubbly question is just like your soul is finally like knock, 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 knock. Hello, we have this agreement. You're supposed to be doing this, but you have not been listening to me. So that thing starting, rise up and bubbling up inside our heart. And if you don't follow that, that's when people get really stressed out. They look for things to escape, like drugs, alcohol, and whatever else that's out there. well, the answer is always already right here inside of us, right? And I
Right.
think a lot of the tools that we've learned, Tina and I met at hypnotherapy school. At the end of the day, what we're learning there is not just about like how we're going to change our perspective on things to get a better habit. It's actually returning and coming back and relearning what we have learned so many years prior to, like, until we finally got into face-to-face in doing this work, what we have learned, what we have accumulated, and which one we say, okay, this is the things that are in alignment with us, and these are the things that we are not in alignment with us, and willing to let them go, so that the path for the true abundance relationship, the soulmate energy that we want to attract, everything that we want in our life can come back to us. Because that's all the secrets, like just open that door and everything's going to flood back to us. And with that, it does require for us to come back, return, knowing exactly who we are. And that's why in my work, I do readings as well. I offer astrology reading and human design reading, because that's part of like who you are. The part of we want to reconnect again what we have as a superpower or weaknesses or the stuff that we have to learn in this lifetime. And from there, then I used to work in hypnotherapy, where we let go of the things the patterns that no longer working for us, so that we can start to adopt the things like the one that we know are our superpowers to start to be in our life. And then, of course, with energy healing, help also release that and invite the energy that we want to invite. What's the future that we want to look like, feel like, more than just like, oh, it has to be this way. But it's like what the energy that we want to invite. So that's basically what I do with my clients.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Minutes.
Beautifully said, Karen. Oh my God, you're so powerful. I've known you all this long, Karen. I never heard you. I mean, we just like, friend talks a little here and there, but to really listen to you talk professionally like this, Karen, my God, I'm beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You just,
thank you.
wow. So I just found out, I know you do hypnotherapy, of course, because we met a long time ago, in school, but I never knew you did all this work. You integrate all this astrology, the human design, which I'm going to ask you what it is, because I never heard of it, and also the energy into the life coaching and helping your clients, because we are multidimensional being, so it's like you're using all different tools in your toolbox to help your clients. So please explain what human design is.
Okay, so you're familiar with astrology. Everybody familiar with astrology, and human design was actually a channeled tools that Rahu, who channeled this teaching, apply or integrate human design, I Ching, and there was another one that I can't remember. So with human design, I use it to really get the first layers of our strategy. And this is the basic thing that I really appreciate about human design strategy, is that all our life, we learn to just do, right? We have to do, take action, just do it. That's like the mantra, right?
And especially in Asian culture, we just do all the time. That's all we do, just do. Work. Exactly. But it's not just Asian, just everybody in this society, in the Western culture.
Yes.
We just do. Okay. Sorry for interrupting, but
that's
wow.
Great. Yeah. And that is great, because we are majority of our, of a population, according to human design, it's part of what is called generator. And generators are the builders. They're the one whose task in these lifetimes are to build. That means they do things, right? But there's also a manifestors who are actually, their job or their purpose is to envision what's next, what needs to what needs to come to fruition, what needs to be manifested in this lifetime. And then there's a manifesting generator who has that envisioning purpose, but as well as building. And I'm going to break it down further later. And then projector, who's basically is here to lead the path, lead the way, teachers, and the reflectors, whose job is basically to reflect exactly what is happening consciously in the population. So all of this strategy under human design, or we call it also the design, give us an opportunity to know that manifestors are not necessarily the builders. They can do it, but they can actually work best if they communicate what their envisions. Like, I got this great idea. Let me create this. The way that the creations become bigger, and just imagine like back how the human's population, like how we got into today. Why people get suddenly an idea to create a certain technology, right? Manifestors tend to have those light bulb. The one that actually create and make it bigger are the generator or the manifesting generator. So manifesting generator and generator, they can't really just do things unless something got triggered within them. So their job actually is to wait, to react, to do things. So if they starting to become like, I have a great idea, and I'm just like do, they're gonna hit a wall, and then like they got exhausted and they got frustrated. And that's the theme of generator and manifesting generator. So they need to feel, learn, sense what's in their day-to-day that's inviting them to do things instead of just like pushing things to do. And then the projector is also one that has to wait to act. And they actually have to wait even longer because they have to really sense where they need to go or teach or communicate. Reflectors definitely, even though reflectors are still going to be successful and they can do a lot of things. I know actually a reflector who is a lawyer, and actually a big name actress is actually a reflector. So they can be successful, but they, in order for them to access their gift, they need to be able to allow themselves to just from time to time understand what's going on and allowing all the senses from someone's kind of like an intuitive, but like, with a powerful engine, that their gift is by reflecting of what is really going on around them. So that's human design.
So in your work, your client comes to you, you started off with looking at the astrology chart from the birth time. What about people who don't know the time they were born?
Can you
still work with that? Yes.
I can still use to them. So because this is why I combine between human design and astrology nowadays, because first I learned the theme in human design. So I know how to communicate to them, and just understanding that strategy and start to tweak how they respond to life. That's already key. Like that's a big thing that they can start to adjust how they work in life. And then with the human design and astrology, I start to map out their superpower, because we all have our life force coming through our physical form. We have a life force, energy, and needs in the emotional level. And we also have a life force that we sometimes want to stray away from it, which is our mind and thought. This is a big energy right here, right? That can power us as well. But we also have a need there on how to communicate and be understood. So that's something that I also map out as something that, I help my clients to understand and use. And then there's the desire. I keep coming back here because this is where like we want things, like the sacral energies, like what we want to draw. And a lot of this, again, something that I map out with human design, because with a lot of generator and manifesting generator, we do have a powerful sacral center, and how we use that. It can make, and this is what somebody said to me, a powerful generator and manifesting generator create a great world. But if a generator and a manifesting generator are not working in their type, meaning it's like they're in their shadow, then we're actually seeing what we're seeing right now, where the world is crumbling down. So more and more, we want to have the sacral energy to be clear so that we can create things more powerfully and exactly the way that we want it, like light and love and all that. And then from that, the final one, the combination is how we're going to create structure. Because it's great to say about abundance, about money, but if we never have the structure, the container to allow the abundance to come into our life, then it's not going to happen. I gave an example last week in one of my talk about, and I don't have it right now, SMIC, water. We see water or we see air everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. We can't feel it. I mean, air especially, we can't feel it unless you put the air inside a container, or we put air inside something that can like move it and then becomes so powerful. Same thing with water. If the water cannot contain, like say example in the river, you see the water is really strong because it has boundary. It has things to keep it flowing. So that's exactly why we are here. When we want to attract abundance, that means our container must also be ready. So that's the step that I bring them, so that it's, you know, it comes down into how we're going to live in this world clear, from knowing our strength, our purpose, our needs, all the way to we create the container for it. So we have exactly what we need to attract everything that we want in our life.
Wow, that's a lot to take, but it's so fascinating with the human design that you started out. Okay, let's say I know I have given you my astrology before, you know, but I never knew you did all this stuff, you know, guys. I mean, the talk that we have, you know, I'm just like, I know she's very gifted and talented, and I know she can share a lot with a lot of people, and I know she's a life coach and she helped a lot of people. That's why I invited her into this talk. Yeah. But I never knew this side of you about all this. Oh my God, the human design and the energy that they carry, or I mean, I probably call it archetype, right? The type of, yes, that's actually makes sense to me. So you will be able to map out the archetype of that person, or whatever design that they're born with. They're born with that, correct?
Yes. That's why I tell people, because majority of my clients, they came from professional or business world. And they always love assessment, right? And I used to love assessment. There's the Myers-Briggs, there's so many other things to assess, like what your strengths and weaknesses and all of that. And after I learned with all of this, I start to question, when I go through my Myers-Briggs, for example, what kind of condition was I when I was taking that test? That really determined of how you answer the question, because all of those are based on you know, answering some certain questions, right? And then rating it based on what your questions are. So majority of the time, we will come into those tests and saying that, well, I actually, you know, feel that I'm more this person, or, you know, I have this feeling, or I have, you know, I have a good decision maker in this way and all that. So you use a lot of like what you believe, or sometimes our ego, right? We feel that this is what's right about us. But with astrology, human design, everything that we generate from our birthday time, and even I know you interviewed a few people who does palmistry and numerology, you can't really lie, because that energy is exactly there when you're—
It's on there. It's on there. I mean, you just have to be, to me, I feel like, whether or not you believe in all this, you know, esoteric stuff, I have that curiosity to learn. It doesn't matter what it is. And I noticed, like you said, everything is there. It's so accurate. If you get the good reader person who actually able to tap into that energy, it's just like, okay, you know, for me to believe, I have to like, you know, question quite a bit. So when you get your clients human design all set, the next step is to create the program for them. Is that what it is? When you mentioned that container.
Yes. I basically went through every single things in their chart one by one, so they understand what the energies are available to them. Understanding, because that part, when I say, you know, getting unstuck, right? We could get unstuck if we start to understand what's available. So we need to set the foundation back, because a lot of time we forgot who we are. Not in a sense that, I know I'm 45, like I don't really forget my, my childhood and things like that. But I never really understand what it is to feel operating in my own self, not until I started to learn all of this. And even as I was learning, there was a lot of like relearning, basically unlearning and relearning, right? Because
Mhm.
like for me, I'm a manifesting generator. Yes, I can do things, but the way that I was doing things basically based on a lot of it my own thoughts, and like it or not, some of the thoughts is coming from fears, because we're so conditioned. I, for example, especially because I've been a professional for a long time, it's that the drive is like, what have we not done, or like what can we do more? And there's always fear underneath, because we're always pushed to compete with other people, with other, like in my like in advertising agency, right? Our brand have to compete with another brand, so we have to fulfill our clients' needs all the time, so they can always compete. And that also came into my personal life, right? Because that's how I was taught, and that's what I know. So that's what I applied in my life. Like we have to like always survive. We
Right.
have to compete, because if you don't do it, then who's going to know about us? Who's going to understand us? And that's a lot of time that a lot of my clients come to me. It's like, I don't know why, Karen, but I've done all the best for other people, but nobody has done best for me. I feel unacknowledged. I don't feel like people understand me. I don't understand why people just always do me wrong. And that's for me like the big clue for any of my clients. Like, how much actually do you know yourself? Have you acknowledged yourself? Have you acknowledged your strength? Do you even know what those are? So that's where human design and astrology came, that foundation to like, okay, let's look at your map again. How, right? What were you born, like when you were born in this earth, what are you bringing? And there's so many great energy coming, even though sometimes the chart might not look like, and this is what's funny, like, again, the competitions mentality is like, is my chart better than like so and so?
Comparison. We
Yeah.
always being taught to compare. Yes, yes.
Do I have the
It's
best chart?
it's a symptom of, am I good enough? You
Yes,
know, that's
yes,
a lot. Am I good enough?
yes, yes, yes. And the funny thing, what I started to learn, people that came into this lifetime with like, and I'm not saying this is a good or bad, but I'm just noticing that even if your chart looks amazingly beautiful, there's no square, there's no all this like crazy, sometimes like those energy that's clashing. Even if you have amazing chart like that, doesn't mean that your life's gonna go like unfolding perfectly, because we have
Right.
to understand that every moment, every day, there are other influence around us that will either block it or like try to change the direction of where you're supposed to go. And I noticed with people who were born with some like crazy, not crazy, but like this tough squares or oppositions that you feel that the energy is going to be always pulling at each other, those people actually have the tenacity, or have even the good starting from they were young, to understand what it is to overcome things. So good or like, it's really, there's no really good or bad at looking at charts. It's just a knowing what you're coming into this world with, and what you can actually use for not just surviving. We're not even talking about that anymore, because once you come to me, I'm good in what my gift is to start to show you, when we were born, we have this amazing thing. We don't have all those consciousness that we started to adopt from our parents, society, culture, right? So we have the potential. We all come with this amazing, great potential. And then we go through life, we start to like, instead of looking at how 360 potentials, we start to decrease it, decrease. And with age, we're starting to have lower and lower expectation to
Right.
what and who we can be in this life. So my job is to actually take that apart and start to show you and remind you of that potential.
Wow. That is amazing. I haven't heard from anyone talk like that, Karen, before, because it's so true. We're born, God creates us to have this huge, the biggest potential. We have this full potential. And as we get older, like you said, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And when we become smaller, that's when our life attracts smaller things, or not attracting at all, because I believe in the energy, just like batteries attract.
Yes, the law.
So when we become this little, we attract that little. When we become this big energy, we attract big things in life. Of course, that's go back to how a lot of people are trying to manifest abundance, manifest in happiness. I used to see like a lot of books or people talks about just focus on that thought. But a lot of people said it doesn't happen. How can it happen when people focusing on that little or that fear, especially during post-COVID?
Yes.
That's very little for a lot of people to think about themselves. So, wow. So, how long would this take, Karen, for most people to really be able to expand that little into this 360? Into this giant, powerful magnetic energy that it can attract everything they want.
Yeah. I usually run my programs one-on-one or group initially for 90 days. So that's about 4 weeks, 12 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That's the foundation of it. But we all know the learning that we have accumulated, whatever age you are, that's a lot. And the starting point helps you to open up. And again, I can't really say, everyone has a different way of unlearning and learning. It really depends how open you are with all of this. I have clients who are like, within the 90 days, they're like, I'm in it, I know what to do. And they start manifesting things like crazy. But there are also clients who are like, I'm still gonna try this and, I'll see. And it's okay. We all have different paths. But I know one thing about my clients who are also the impatient kind, which is like, I totally understand it, get it, because I used to be like that. Like, I want the result now. Why is this not happening? And I had to also tell them, hello, 30 years, 40 years of unlearning things. Even for myself, I was pretty stubborn when I have to start to unlearn things. Things don't always go fast because it needs to go different direction until you finally like, oh my God, okay, so that's exactly what I need to, I should have let go, or I should have, focused more. So yeah, it's really hard to say like the time frame, but for sure, for starting out with me, the 90 days, and I make it very intensive. Every week we're meeting so that we started to condition ourselves. We all know repetition. Repetition is key. We've been bombarded with advertising for so many years in our lifetime, like McDonald's, Nike, whatever else that we saw on TV. The key in advertising, and that's what I used to do, right? It's repetition. The more that you see the brand, the more that is top of mind. So imagine if you want the life what you want, if you only just make one vision board, do you think that's going to catch? No. You need to continuously looking at it, attracting and embodying the feeling every day, over and over, until it's starting to stick. So that's why I say 90 days, because my job is to remind you and not to, and have your focus to stay on that expansion, that potential, because we've so used to here, we can have an opening, but then if this is not being hold open, then it's easy to go back. And because especially with the way things are going this day, it's hard to know what's right or wrong, right? It's really hard to stay focused in one vibration. And you and I can talk about vibration and energy. I feel like your viewers can do, because that vibration is really like, nobody can hold joy, happiness without feeling like, am I delusional? Because everybody else around us is not in that vibration. So when
I'm always in that vibration, Karen.
That's amazing. That's good. That's why I like working with you.
Most of the time I'm in a happy vibration, except when I was sick during COVID. That was the first time in life that I was in that. But most of the time, I just, kept pretty positive.
That's amazing. And that, not everyone is in that vibration all the time.
Right.
Especially majority, if they're not into what you do, or they're not in that level of like, hey, you know what, I can be happy anytime. Who cares? They're not happy. Who cares? Because a lot of us are still operating based on like, oh, wait, they're doing that. So is it bad if I'm experiencing this? Or is it bad if I'm, because I have clients who are like, I feel bad if I'm happy actually, because nobody is my family happy. Or am I delusional? Like, you started to ask that question. Am I delusional if I'm feeling this ecstatic, that I'm feeling so joyful? And that's when I'm like, wow, wouldn't you think that that's your birthright to feel this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Everyone's birthright should feel this.
Yeah.
Should feel happy most of the time. Not like what a lot of us going through right now.
Yeah. And it's hard to stay, like, again, part of our learning, especially Asians, it's like you have to make sure you're not like you're not looking different, because you might be attracting, which is funny that I'm saying this right now, right? If you're different, that means you're attracting something differently, which is good, right? Especially in this time where if you're attracting something similar to your next door neighbor or your friend, I'm not saying that they're bad or good, but like, if you're attracting, if you feel like you need to be as small as the next person, then you're never going to feel that birthright, that joyful, that happiness, the things that we want to experience, right? So that's part, a lot of the work in my program is to sustain that vibration, to remind everyone, to remind my clients what it's like to hold vibration that is in alignment with who we are. And that will result in peace, happiness, joy, whatever it is that you want to call, because that's where everybody needs to be.
So Karen, I would say you work as a hypnotherapist, you definitely work with their subconscious and also the conscious part, both. And you also as well have to work with the habit then.
Oh, yes.
The habit is a big thing, because we have a lot of bad habitual addiction. It could be just thought alone, thinking that you're just small, not good enough.
Yes.
So is that the kind of program that you hone into once you lay out the map and you point it out, you show them the blueprint of their life, what kind of gift they have, what kind of potentiality they have, you show them all, but they don't see it, but you show it to them and they go, wow, I can actually deserve all this and get all this. So that's when you begin to create the proper program for them, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is this through Zoom? You've got clients all over the world, right?
The good thing about with pandemic, nobody can ask me like, can we do this one-on-one anymore? Everybody needs to be comfortable working with me on Zoom, right, which is a blessing in disguise, because now, because of the technology, I can have clients from all over the world. It makes it easy for me to do.
Oh, exactly. I mean, look at us here like this, I mean, we can just Zoom and talk about this. What a way to share with the world. So, okay, I got how your program works now, which is very beautiful, especially the part that you map out, because I haven't heard anyone does that, especially like doing the astrology, which I used to question astrology a lot, but the more I study, because I studied for many years too, and I started to say, my God, this is really accurate about person. And I think there are even some culture, the big corporation will look at the astrology chart of the person to see what kind of character they fit in. If you're in a management energy, they put you in management. If you're in sales, they put you in sales. If you're not a talker or good, what you're good at that, they put you in that kind of work. So
Yeah.
that makes the business successful.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
It's a funny thing because in Asia, not all, but those who follow the Chinese astrology or even feng shui, right?
Mhm.
They use that in their company, in their business, so
I
they
heard
can
that.
continue to be
Mhm.
successful. And
Mhm.
somehow, even us, coming from Asia, that tradition sort of kind of lost because of the modern habit. And funny thing is, like, now we all want to learn that again. But I wish that they never, those teaching never have to be shoved under the rug, because we could have avoided so much suffering, so much pain from just trying our best using what we feel is the logic, thing to try to figure out things that if we just understand how the energy work according to like our birth chart, our strength and everything like that, we could, the amount of time lost trying to put people in the wrong place, or people suffering because they feel like, well, I
Yeah, they're not
have to
happy
make
what they do because it's not their gift.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But like they're trapped under the responsibility that, well, I have to make money, so I have to do this. So whatever it is, I have to do it. So that's
Right.
like extra pain, right? So yeah, I wish this. I feel like with all, a lot of people are coming back into learning about all of the metaphysics, that we can use this for a better use in the way that we do, or we do life and business.
I
Because
can actually see a lot of, oh my God. I mean, from what you just shared, Karen, I can see a lot of like beautiful, I mean, beautiful things that everyone can actually add into their life and really see their potential. I mean, now I'm gonna want to ask you to do this, to map out my map. I had no idea. Guys, I had no idea she'd been doing all this. I just know that she knows astrology, but I didn't know she does map out and all that stuff. So this is fascinating because I think it will help, because I know so many people are not happy with their work.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not doing the potential. That's why they cannot be
Yes.
abundance, because their
Yeah.
energy become like this little.
Yes.
They're not happy what they do, just the money, paying bills. That's
Yeah.
all we do, just paying bills, until we're done, we're gone from this place.
Yes. Yes.
And the last day in your life, you ask yourself question, have I done well in my life?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's spinning the
Yeah.
wheel. We spin the wheel, most of us, right?
Yeah. So
And
it's so funny. Somebody told me this joke the other day. When you die, what do you think God will ask you? It's not like the answer will not be like how many cars you will have, or how many $1 billion you make, or how many Louis Vuitton purses that you're gonna make. But like, how do you love? How do you live this life? Are you
right.
loving this life? Are you loving the people that you're with? And that love cannot exist if you're just only surviving, and if you're focusing only just like, I need to be, whatever it is, like I have to be more, or like all this craziness that we're experiencing right now. So yeah.
Wow. And I heard too, like a lot of wealthy people, they do use astrology.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. I mean,
Ronald Reagan,
our
Nancy Reagan.
politicians, exactly,
Yeah,
our politicians.
Nancy Reagan does that. I know Trump used it. I heard of it. And there's a lot of successful people use that. And it's never been talked about, which is like, wow, I don't know why. Like you said, it's been
Well,
lost.
astrology is a powerful thing,
Mhm.
because back in the days, those who know astrology, which is what they call it, like in the court, you have the king and the queen, and then there's this the wise person who basically has the understanding in astrology. So
Mhm.
any move the king will do, whether when to start to throw the seeds, when to start harvesting, when to start to go to war and things like that, the astrologer will look at the sky and say, okay, this are the time that we should do this. This is the time that we should move this way, and things like that. So astrology, people who understand astrology, is very powerful.
It can be beneficial.
And that power is, and this is where all the ages, I can't really trace back what age was that. But when the age shifted, now that we're going to Aquarius, right now we about all the people again. But
Yeah.
before this, it's all about power and control, right?
Yeah.
So when power and control, the only way that you can be powerful if you can hold that knowledge. Now, if somebody else is more powerful than you, then what do you want to do? You want to kill the one that is more powerful, right? That's why astrologer are you getting killed? And then it's
I
like,
don't know anything, all right? I don't know astrology. I don't have any knowledge. I'm not that smart.
now you're starting to
Don't
be
kill
afraid
me.
of this.
Right?
That's what happened back in the days, why people are so scared with witches, because they think that witches can see things, right? That's why they got killed as well.
Right.
I mean, if we're even looking back into, like, I've traveled to Italy, for example, in like all those beautiful churches that was built in the 1500, 1800, all of them have astrology pictures and images
Every
around
religion.
them.
Every religion.
Every religion.
Christianity, Buddhism, they all have that. I saw that. Yeah.
So I know they also know about this, but they will not say it. And I feel like even in all our astrology teaching, we have 12 apostles. Hello, 12. And we have 12 planets, like, 12 houses.
Yeah.
So all of them, it's all, like you said, the archetype, right?
Archetype. Yeah. Symbolic.
They're still using astrology, but they diffuse the power of it by then just making it as like part of religion. But back in, I strongly believe as well, even in the the behind the scenes, everybody still use astrologer.
Wow. This is deep, Karen. This is deep. I'm gonna have you come back and talk about astrology more. Because I'm always been fascinated by that, by different astrologer, and hear what they talk, and listening to you with the human design. That's even more
I'll come back to
exciting.
That one.
Absolutely. So Karen, you mentioned that you offer some courses and some coaching and training. Are you having a new one coming out soon?
Yeah.
If someone wants to come to you like myself, because I think I'm gonna want to, to get you map my human design, because I'm curious.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to do just human design reading, which I'm still doing as a foundational reading. But the program that I'm launching, which I'm hoping it'll be launched by the end of the month, is because knowing what it is with actually applying it, it's two different things. Like I said, because once you know who you are, I said the dirty part, but it's not that dirty. The fun part. That's
sounds like a movie.
the dirty exotic one is actually kind of like now looking at each one of the element and say, oh my God, I've been operating this way. So how can I shift my way of operating to this alignment? Which means, like you said, like that means there's some habits and pattern that we have to take out. So that's the job, like one by one.
It's like removing old clothing.
Yes.
Or peeling your onions.
Peeling and onions, exactly.
And it's tearful, you cry as you peel it off, because those are pain that you have to release.
It's painful, absolutely. And sometimes the resistance is huge when it's a big thing. A lot of my clients have trouble in the emotional part because we don't feel. A lot of us don't allow ourselves to feel unless we go to a movie and then we feel. And that's because we see something outside of us so that we can finally like, oh, actually I can feel that way. But in here, we have the capacity to feel. And sometimes we forget this emotional thing, the feelings that we have, is the one that actually can energize ourselves to get where we need to be. Because, like I think in one of your background, it's all mind, body, spirit, emotion. It's the inner fire. Because we don't, and this is one thing that I work a lot with a lot of my clients, like they fear anger, they fear sadness. And I'm like, I ask them why do you fear anger and sadness so much? Because they're bad. Because if I'm angry, I feel guilty. Why am I angry? I should not be angry. I said, well, here's the thing. If you feel angry, And, granted, like sometimes it could be anger towards something outside of you. But if you ask the question, why am I angry to the first? What is it about that makes you so angry? Why are you so triggered? I can assure you there's a beautiful gift there that will tell you what it is that you have not been allowing yourself or giving yourself, whether it's a need, whether it's like, oh, I have not done enough self-care, or I have not done what I promised myself to do, or things that I said I want to do A, and instead of doing A, I'm doing B instead, and all of that. And a lot of the big things that we see in the world came from somebody got angry. Somebody
Right.
got angry because the gas price is high. I'm pretty sure there's something going to come out of this. Okay.
Right, for sure.
Some people got angry because, or passionate, and again, angry, it can also be passionate, right? Back in the days when we all cannot connect in the globe, somebody said, this is strange. There must be a way so that we all can connect through some way, technology, to make globalization happen. And that passion or anger make the internet. That passion and anger, just like Steve Jobs, like, I don't like how the computer is created. I want it to be simple and easy to use. That passion and anger is the one that create Apple.
Great
One of
goodness.
the easiest computer to use, and all of that. So that one area that I also love, working with my clients, because we don't allow ourselves to use the emotions to get us, or to allow us to feel. And that's why I'm like peeling off the onions. Yeah, you're going to be crying a lot, but we're going to also allow the raw emotions, the exact essence of who we are, to start coming up and become alive again.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Karen, we're coming down to the end of the time that we're doing this. Any advice? I know I'm going to put your information, guys, if you want to contact Karen, because she's going to, for her service, for her whole course, or for the human design, life map, you can connect with her, and I'm going to put her information here. You also got your Instagram, right, Karen?
Yes,
I'm going to put it there,
yes,
but you can also, say it
yeah.
if you want.
Yeah, I think it would be easier to DM me at this moment, as I'm still writing down this program. Again, I don't think I answer your question. So my program is gonna be a 12-week intensive with me. So like I said, after the reading, we're gonna map out exactly who you are and what your needs are. And during that 12 weeks, we'll be doing clearing. We're gonna be doing pattern breaking, habit changing. And toward the ends, when we're starting to integrate and create the space, the container, I usually will create a challenge that we're going to go through together, so that, for example, like, I want to start having a focus on thinking positive. And we're going to work for the last 21 days of our working together, so that this will always get repeatedly be ingrained with exactly what you want. And that could be an affirmation, that could also be a certain habits, maybe doing more mindfulness practice or meditation and whatnot. So that
before you put something new, you get with all the junk that you accumulated, since birth.
Yes.
And then you have room to put this beautiful energy in. And that's when you got enough power to attract.
Yes.
My God, Karen, thank you. Thank you. It's just been amazing, amazing session today. Actually, I learned a lot, even though I know some of this stuff already, but fascinating. Wow, guys, listen, she's worth it. Make sure you contact Karen. And any last word, Karen, before we part?
No, I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you doing the good work. And I love your always happy and joyful energy. And I feel like you're attracting a lot more people to be happy and joyful. And I feel like your light is very bright. And I feel like this is the time that we also, all of us who have the capacity and who are being called. And I feel like a lot of us are being called right now to hold that energy and vibration of happiness and joy.
I just feel like, I don't know why, I have been a hermit for a long time. It's not like me, but I feel like right now, for some reason, the energy is just calling out to collaborate. to be in the
Yes.
group, to connect, to help each other, and to
Yes.
just enjoy what we do. I mean, I never thought I would enjoy doing this YouTube thing. I was like, it just, the light bulb comes in because I was doing my,
It's so natural for
COVID.
you.
A
So
lot of
natural
people
for
say
you.
that. And I was just, the only thing that forced me to do this video was COVID recovery. I mean, I was at my worst, but I just grabbed my camera and just did it in my videotape. And I think that's got me started.
Yeah.
And then when I was getting better, which is beginning of the year, I'm like, I still want to do this, but what I'm going to do, what I'm going to share since I'm recovered already.
Yeah.
And this just pops up and I go, just do what I love, do
Yeah.
what I love. And just, I feel like I'm a connector, connecting people. And I love to connect you in this channel today because I think you share a lot of amazing information and you can help a lot of people, Karen.
Thank you.
So with that said, thank you so much, Karen, and please come back again. I'm going to get you
I
back
will.
again to talk more. Thank you.
All right.
Well, guys, thank you for listening in and check out the next video tape, okay? Well, next video is going to be about acupuncture and also clairvoyant in one person. So it's going to be very fascinating. All right, and plus many more. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.